You have to find a way to internalize and focus and kind of shut the world out, go into whatever zone you need to go into.
It builds as you're doing feeder sets, and then you turn it on fully for that top set. You go all in, but then you can back it off and turn it off and use it for the next round of the top set. You have to do both. Just like you said, in training, you have to bring the physical side of it. You have to bring the mental side of it.
You're not paying for just me in that hour.
But that's what they believe.
You're paying for fucking 24 years of experience.
Yeah. You have to win. You must win.
That's the checklist. Now, that's extremely advanced training, and that's what most people miss. You know what we need?
What?
Something to read off of, like a
teleprompter.
Script.
Hello, Blake.
Good morning, and welcome to the Unrivaled Iron Gym Podcast.
Period.
Period.
Oh, shit. I'm
starting today. You can get my free fat-free zone burning exercise program, 12-week program.
Your turn. Go.
For $49.99. But wait, there's more.
Hi, I'm Blake. Oh no, I'm Mark. Oh, shit. Damn. No one knows the difference anyway. That actually is
stupid.
The number of people that we've talked about that call me Blake and you Mark, it actually blows my mind. In case anyone didn't notice, we're basically twins, so I think that's the reason why. We're easily confusable, for sure.
Oh my god. Okay.
So how'd you sleep?
Terrible. So how'd I sleep? I'll tell you how I slept. Ask my wife how I sleep.
Oh, this is a nightly occurrence.
It's actually not. It's not Elise's fault at all. It's the fact that my snoring's so bad. And I'm ready for the comments. Get a CPAP. You should get a CPAP.
I need it. Whatever.
I don't know. I'm reading a lot of things on CPAPs that aren't always. They're not always apparently. I don't know.
There's actually negative effect of them?
Well, it's just like every study on every little thing. It's like that one guy, studies say.
Oh, you sent me that, yeah.
What studies are we
The study was the made-up video
they say, who's they? What studies are we referring to?
Well, you can just lie.
Is there any analytical, actual data that supports this? Are there control groups? I don't know. So who knows what's real and what's not in this universe?
Yeah, nothing.
I don't know. What's weird is my weight's down, because I'm like tiny, little tiny guy.
So you're saying that should make like the sleep apnea, whatever, like lesser?
Usually when I'm heavy, I'm upwards of 220 or whatever, then I'm like, I'm like, but I'm a mouth breather, man.
Yeah. You need, this is what you need. I solve all your problems. You need a nose strip and mouth tape. You strike me as a nose strip kind of guy.
I'm actually never going to wear a nose strip on purpose, just to not.
I will say, I know you're going to make fun of me.
Unless you're Keon or, Samson.
Yeah, he's 320 pounds and 6'3" or whatever.
Yeah, if you're 260 and above, cool.
I'm pushing it. I'm 250. It's a terrible 250. Yeah, it is. It's a terrible. It's 250 nonetheless. I will say though, I did for like 3 nights in a row. I tried it. I was like, I got to see what this is about. So I did wear a nose strip and mouth tape. It did make my sleep better.
But do you know what I do? I just take the mouth tape and go,
well, that's the problem. And I
wake up 20 minutes later. I'm like,
well, it's off. It's on my pillow and the strip's over here, and I'm like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah,
and it's expensive, so whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna try the one nose thing, but needless to say, I'm sleeping on an air mattress right now, so.
That's not good.
I mean, I feel, Elise was like, I can sleep on the air mattress. I'm like, no, dude, I'm not making you sleep on the air mattress. I get the snoring's a problem, so I mean, she can't sleep, so. Yeah. And then we try to, because we hate not sleeping together, of course, but like, she just nudges me every like 10 minutes. So I'm like almost in a restful sleep, and she's like, and I'm like, oh, God,
I'm out of here.
I'm out.
I'll sleep outside.
Me and Casey are going to the couch. All right, anyway.
Training. You're not very good at it, so I don't know why we're going to talk about it. But
I don't do it at all.
This is going to be a really short episode.
Yeah. So we wanted to talk about training as like the first topic here. Like the psychology of sport, I guess you could say. Every athlete or top athlete. This is going to reference higher level bodybuilders or just anyone who's competing in general.
A higher level athlete of any kind.
If you're like a lifestyle client looking to get better, we're trying to have a mixed bag of everything and talk about a little bit of everything because we are or were competitive bodybuilders and would like to get back to that. Yeah, if one more person asked me, "Are you ever going to compete again?" I'm like, I'd like to.
If I wasn't doing 9 million other things.
Yeah, it'll come. Anyway, So this will be geared towards competitive bodybuilding and high level bodybuilding.
Yeah, giving that caveat.
This topic, so you don't have not to, the whole podcast. So everyone's like, "Oh, I'm not going to listen to it
today, right now."
Yeah. So I don't know really, I guess, where to start on it.
I feel like it's more about, I think, because you and I talk a lot about this. I would say talking about the two of us explaining, I guess, from our experiences, and especially you from coaching as many people as you do, entering into the mindset that's needed to embody a top-level athlete, and then how that transcends into prep for whatever sport you're doing, doing the actual thing, the recovery of it, because you need that correct certain mindset in all facets of competing at that high level, and what that means to carry that through, because it's your day, it's your lifestyle. You don't just do it for the hour you're doing your sport and then you go home and you're a regular person again. You really have to live that all day long, every day. And then we know in bodybuilding it's even more, because that goes into your meals, your sleep, your stretching, everything. But it's all sports.
All sports have a facet of it's around the clock work if you're serious at it, right? Hydration, sleep, all the things you just said, mitigating stress, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. But in regards to just training alone, I want to hyper.
So we're not all over the place,
right? Just on training and how you approach your training sessions, or just like you'd approach your sport or your game. So bodybuilding, I like to think of it this way, or I explain it to clients or competitors this way. Your training sessions, not everyone's going to be a home run hit. And again, everyone has their own idea of what a training session should look like. Whether you're using RPE, like rate of perceived exertion, or you're using reps in reserve, which is 2, 3, 1 RIR. Are you training to complete failure? That's a topic I want to touch on.
Yeah, we can get to that probably within this.
This is a new thing that I've been seeing, and it drives me crazy.
It's not even really complete failure. Well, we'll get to it.
Yeah, again, I think it's a hodgepodge of
fake
people
failure.
Throwing a bunch of information and younger athletes trying to kind of pick and choose what they want, and they're trying to put it together
without having the complete picture.
So, but the way I like to describe this is your training sessions as a bodybuilder. They need to be pretty locked in, right? What does locked in mean? Well, it's different to every person, I guess. The maturity in which, how intense are your sessions? I think you get more mature in that as time goes on.
Yeah.
What actual intensity means, right? What proper rep execution, time under tension, tempo. If you're really thinking about all of those things, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot to think about if you're actually thinking, but that's part of the process too. So focusing in on your sessions, each session should be like in sport, you look at your game or you look at your match or this, right? And you're preparing for that single game or that match or whatever. In bodybuilding, you might have 4 days, 5 days, 6 days a week training.
Yep.
Well, how many days you have, you should be pretty damn locked into those days. Okay, so, or they're almost like mini games.
Yeah.
Right? You're not just preparing the whole week for one session. You have to find a way to internalize and focus and kind of shut the world out, go into whatever zone you need to go into, not only be intense. I think people mix intensity with this like rah, rah, roar, angry, rah. I mean, I even did that to a certain degree because we talk about psychology of sport. Like, for me, training was therapy. Exactly. So I just kind of bobbled it, channeled it, went nuts. But then as I got more experience over time with bodybuilding, we can't do that every session.
Well, that's exhausting you without physically exhausting it's actually adding to, but also taking away from your training.
Correct.
Because there's all this energy to explode.
So the question is though, why does that take away from your training? If you go in with the mindset of like, I'm just going to pick this weight up and rip it off the ground and throw iron around, what does that ruin?
It ruins the actual ability to push that to where you actually need to push, because the mental capacity it takes just to get into that space, to be angry or whatever you want to call it. Well, you could use that for your training output, not your mental output.
But if you're not advanced enough to turn that on and turn it off,
how do you control that?
That's rough. And people are probably like, what are they talking about?
You sound like a psychopath, of course. Yeah.
But the ability to turn that on and turn it off for top sets, work sets,
well, that's
whatever.
the thing. Now you can do it. I think I've actually learned it from you, honestly, of I used to approach a training session like you said. I have to do this the entire one.
The whole 45 to
That's
90
impossible.
minutes is completely
all in or all out,
right.
and then you can't do that. But now, like you said, it builds as you're doing feeder sets, and then you turn it on fully for that top set. You go all in, but then you can back it off and turn it off and use it for the next round of a top set. That's the way it actually.
But if you're also just completely bonkers, and I still am guilty of it from time to time. You see, like if I'm angry, I'm like, I'm just gonna pick this shit up.
That was the leg day video, basically. Well, halfway.
No, it actually was.
I feel like halfway
because of my knees and everything else.
Yeah, but that's the reason why you said they kind of feel a little bad. Because I feel like at a certain point you're like, I gotta let this thing rip.
And then
correct. Because it felt good, and then that therapeutic side of it comes out. There's a balance of all this.
There was definitely Well, it was the leg day, but I'm saying in the sense of like your ability to focus on. Let's take a squat, for example. Let's break this down a little bit more so it makes sense of it. If you're squatting, you can just squat. Mm-hmm. Or you can get under the bar, get under the pads, find your feet, right? Have even disbursement of weight on your feet, big toe, outside of foot, heel. And this is like...
So your mental checklist. Of building the lift.
You're feeling the lift. You know each... inch or two you go down into the squat, I'm going to externally rotate on my hips. I'm going to sit in the hole. I'm going to grab my feet on the platform, right?
Yep.
I'm going to create my arch, sit into the hole, externally rotate, breathing. Where's my breathing at? Where's my tempo? Mm-hmm. Do I want my tempo to be a bit faster here? Do I want to lock out at the top? Do I want constant tension? That's the checklist.
It is.
Now, that's extremely advanced training, and that's what most people miss. It's not just moving weight up and down.
Because
it is so much more than that, and the complexity that's there. And this is where people, though, the kids, and I'm seeing it, they're confused. And this is where I'm not angry. I don't laugh at them at all. I'm not like, what an idiot. I'm thinking, man, they're confused. And I understand why. Mm-hmm. Because we talked about this in another podcast, information overload. Yep. You have me babbling on about all this. So they're going to go to the platform now, and they're going to go, okay, I need to focus. And now, I can't put that much weight on, so I'll just use 25s on these. No, it takes time to get there. Yeah. Right? It's maturity and training. I didn't used to train like that.
I definitely didn't used to train
now,
like that.
I'm a little, I'm not a good example.
You're
because
not.
I did have
you've had
really
structure
great mentors
forever.
And was around big time level at age of 14. Yep. Was around world record holding power lifters that, they would say, not all of them were very smart. They just had good ideas on 20 plus years of training. They knew. They were like, hey, kick your ass back on this. Hey, take your knee and just duck it out of it. And you're like, hey, use this box and do that. Hey, use these bands. Watch your deficit. And I just, that's just a culmination of all these things and cues. And I'm like, oh, and you piece together the puzzle. Not everyone has that high level training or that environment.
Or the guidance or the environment or anything. Yeah.
So coming back around, if you're go into the session, you're just like, Can you do all this? Can you do the mental checklist of all that?
They don't even know a mental checklist exists. But they see Nick Walker and they see these really massive guys.
But Nick Walker's he's a perfect example.
That's a bad example because he doesn't look super crazy intense most of the time. He's very controlled.
But it's controlled intensity.
But yeah, I'm saying they see other guys.
There's demons in there. He's letting them
there
out.
There are,
dude.
but he's learned to control it.
But he doesn't need to scream and yell.
There's some guy I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but there's guys that do scream and yell because that's how they
like. Scream and yell,
and they prefer to train that way. But I think what you're saying is younger people that are less trained and less experienced see that and they want to emulate it because it's cool.
Yeah.
But they don't realize it's not just the screaming. They're screaming and whatever on the outside, but they're going through the trained guy is going through the mental checklist.
Yeah.
The younger guy is not, so they're missing the point altogether.
Right.
They're just screaming in the gym wearing their Gap shirt, and they're like, well, they're not getting anything out of this, so it doesn't really matter.
So then, what happens is the younger guy looks at the big guy. This is just an example, right? This guy has 20 years of training, and this guy has one year and a half training, and he looks at this guy and goes, oh, he's just big because of this, this, and this.
Exactly.
No. I train way harder than that guy. How does he look like that? Yep. Because he did what you're doing right now, and he screwed it all up the whole way.
For years.
And then realized at some point, I need to match him. Mm-hmm. I need to bring the intensity and bring all of that.
Yep.
And focus more on what's working and what's not, and, the mental checklist, I guess, right? It's almost like, why am I drawing a blank here on visualization?
Yeah.
Right. I used to do this at a young age, like in football. Not that I was a premier linebacker or center. My friends would laugh at this. Like, yeah, dude. But, I used to visualize, without even thinking about it, visualization like techniques, which I had someone teach me some of that stuff when I was really young, like 15, 16. I had a trainer that, sitting on the bus, though, to the ride over to the game, I'm like, how am I going to shoot the A gap? How am I going to blitz? How am I, visualization of how I'm going to tackle, how I'm going to warm up, the intensity I'm going to bring to the warm up, all these little intricate details. That's what people do at high levels. Now, I obviously wasn't good enough to my genetic capabilities and threshold there was not good.
Framing yourself. You were framing yourself
trying,
to operate at a high level.
Well, I had to, because I knew I got to be better than everyone else on those levels, because I'm not good enough to hang if I just run around like an idiot.
Yeah. Right. So I think that you and I talk about this a lot too, because what you're saying is so true. And I think now this is another example. People hear that part. They're like, okay, Blake said I got to just visualize this. So all they'll do is only visualize and not do the action part. It's like the people that they think they're business owners. They're like, we're going to talk, or we're going to say all the Andy Frisella things or whatever. But then they never actually show up and do the working part either. They just keep telling themselves how locked in and focused on their business they are. You have to do both. Just like you said, in training, you have to bring the physical side of it. You have to bring the mental side of it. And like you just said, you have to learn how to marry those two together at the perfect time with the perfect rate of both. It's not one or the other. And I think people, when they're younger and less experienced, they take one of them and they run with it and they hyperfixate on one of them.
Yeah, which I think you have to do.
You do, because you learn this one. You learn in silos, and then eventually you get to the age where you can do both. But you can't forget there's another side to all of these things.
Yeah, you got to meet him in the middle.
Yeah,
definitely applies to business too. I mean, that's
it does. Well, that's a whole other topic.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I think to your credit too, when it comes to training, you talking about the mental checklist, and I have experience with my former, like the person that got me into bodybuilding, Frank, would do this with me. That's where I first learned it, and I've excelled with it with you, and I see you do this with all of your in-person training clients, and it's why you're good at training. Because most people don't have the mental checklist, you provide it for them.
Correct.
They're going through their sets and reps. You do it to me every time we train, even though I think that I'm above average in training, but I still need those mental cues. And I think I'm doing it right until you say, just do this. And then I'm like, oh, shit, dude. And then you engage. I mean, we did it yesterday when I was doing that stupid rows that I can't do anymore. Yeah, and it's like, but it makes a huge difference when people are cued externally, because most people, to your original point, haven't learned how to cue it on themselves internally. And that's what makes, I think, a really elite trainer and coach. And that's why you're good at training people. You understand these cues to this level that is just so second nature to you that you can then articulate them to other people that don't even know that they exist.
So yeah, we're getting a little bit away, but I don't care.
But it's still the mindset of training and I know
I've told you this before.
It's from training.
I think, how do I say this without being a total arrogant asshole?
You can be a total arrogant asshole.
No,
I'll tell you if you're being one, actually. But
cool, yeah. Let me know. Yeah. Stop me and say you're an asshole. I don't know.
Asshole.
Personal training. If you're a really good personal trainer, and you can learn those things and get better at those things, like watching someone's movement pattern and fixing it and giving that mental. There's a psychology of sport, right? There's a mental capacity. And being able to read that person and what you think their threshold is, how you're yelling at them. Maybe you aren't yelling at them. We were just talking about this with my my in-laws. I forget what it was directly, but some people don't need screamed at. It actually makes things
it shuts them down,
right? So it's reading the person, engaging their personality, watching their face, what they are. I'm drawing a blank here. When you watch facial cues, if you can do it right, you can see if someone's like accepting your cue or intensity or
and they're buying into it, or they're still feeling lost.
It freaks them out and they're out of the. Okay, so that's one little thing, right? Now it's how they move. Where their feet, where their arms, where their back, so positional awareness, right? So the ability to kind of read them, engage them, and it takes time to learn someone, right? But if you're really engaged in your sessions, this is where like, man, training's really hard, like for the hour, because I want to make sure I'm doing all
when you're good at
things.
it. It's
or
hard,
you can stand there like this and pick your nose.
Next, looks
good. 3 more.
Yeah, exactly.
4. Okay, yeah. Good, yeah, good job. All right.
It's exhausting for you because you put your all into
it. That's what drives me. This is what drove me nuts my whole life. Because I look at people like that, like trainers that do that, and I'm like, man, you guys suck.
Yeah, they're not good.
And it's really easy. Like for me, it's really, really, really easy.
Yes.
I'm bad at so much shit. But when I watch someone train, I'm like, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, this is wrong, that's wrong.
Well, what I tell you, everyone has a gift.
I could be like, I could fix that in 5 seconds. Like, and again, people are like, wow, this guy's an arrogant asshole.
No, it's not.
But if I'm good at like one thing.
It's not arrogance
like,
because you're using it for good.
And I wish I could, I can't really make too much of a living off of, we figured that out. Training people 5 to 6 people a day.
You could if that was
myself out.
No, that's not true. You could make an exceptional living if that's the only responsibility you had, and not coaching 80 people and running a gym and doing all that. If all you do is show up, have 5 to 6 sessions a day, and go home, it'd be tiring. But you can make really good money,
easy,
and you would enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then not carry the weight of 80 people crying about their meal plans and everything else that we have to deal with, and Cintas not calling us back and whatever that. I don't go down this path, but it's not just the training.
Yeah, you're correct.
But you were fitting high intensity training in amongst all these other crazy things that we're doing, and that's why it feels like it's a lot.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
That was like your third job, and it was like
my part-time job was tending bar on the weekends.
Yeah, exactly.
Which whatever. So if you're good at all those things, that you should be able to provide that mental checklist for it. But that's what a good trainer should provide. That's why you pay them money.
Exactly.
So when people get stuck on money,
worth
it. This is now I'm branching off again, but they're like, $70, $85. Yeah, dude, it should be $150 an hour.
Exactly.
Actually, it should be $150 fucking dollars an hour. That's what it should be. Because you're not paying for just me in that hour.
But that's what
you're paying for fucking 20 years, 24 years of experience.
Yes.
That makes me irate, obviously.
Obviously. And rightfully so.
So, that's what I want to start doing. It's like, you want to train, and it's not an arrogance thing. I don't think I'm better than anybody else. It's like, it's the years of experience.
You're better at training. You are better at training. I'll be the first person to tell you that. So you're not better than them as a person.
And that's why I try to tell our trainers that. People that, it's actually absolutely disgustingly rude when people we're going off here, but
I know. This is what happens. It's fine.
Whatever, who gives a shit? People are, hey, can I get like a discount on this? If you want a discount, man, go to the gym down the street. It offers the 12-week fat loss program, and you'll get nowhere. Okay, because they don't care at all. They don't care about you.
No,
because that trainer's not paid enough either.
Exactly.
So their level of care is garbage. And that's why the trainer turnover rate and all these commercial gyms and shit is so high. Because no one really actually gives a shit. If you find someone that actually cares a lot and actually focuses and puts that energy in there, there is no price on it. If you want to take it serious.
Exactly.
Right? But then you also have to show up for yourself and do all these other things too, right? So, that whole price point thing, man, that drives me nuts. When our trainers undercut themselves, we're like, hey, bump your rates up.
Exactly.
Man. I just did one of our trainers the other day on Unrivaled. I'm like, dude, you are way better than this $70. I don't care if people bitch about it.
Well, then they
go somewhere else.
Then they'll train somewhere else,
and
but they won't get the results.
Because I can see the trainers that produce results, and they're really good, and they do care.
They do care.
That's why they're at the gym. If they weren't, we wouldn't want them there.
Hired them to be there.
Right.
But when you ask for a discount, not only are you discrediting yourself as the person who asked for the discount, but you're also highly offending the professional that's actually giving the service. Yeah. Because if you valued them and their service, you would understand that it doesn't come in a discounted rate.
Yeah.
You have to pay for that. Like you said, it's not for that 1 hour. It's not for that workout. It's for access to their knowledge that you don't have.
Yeah.
And if someone has knowledge and you want it and you don't have it, you pay for that time. We talk about this all the time, whether it's people asking us for business advice, training advice, nutrition advice. We're not better than anybody, but we have gained knowledge and information through our experiences, not just from reading a book, but through real life experiences.
Yes, real life experience.
Given us the ability to share knowledge. That's the reason why we started doing this, because we want to share some knowledge for free for people, and we care about it. But at the end of the day, again, it's disrespectful to just be like, hey man, could you cut me a deal on this? No, I didn't get cut a deal for the past 20 years that I was learning this, so why should I cut you a deal in the 30 minutes that we're going to talk to each other? It doesn't make any sense.
Or if your price point's high. I mean, I've had this happen before. I had this happen early on when I was leaving policing. My price wasn't even high, dude. It was like...
No, when you were in policing, dude, it was like
yeah,
pennies.
You know, $75.
$80 a month.
God,
yeah.
What a waste. And then someone said, well, can I just see your level of certification? Yeah, here it is, ISSA. Finish that in a weekend.
I don't want to offend anyone, but it's irrelevant.
I'm sorry, yeah.
It's
and
irrelevant.
That's going to offend a lot of people.
I know.
And I don't mean to be offensive. Everyone starts somewhere, you need a certification. That's not what I'm getting at.
Irrelevant.
It has nothing to do with what I've learned.
Zero.
And in fact, if I wanted to get more knowledge, which at some point I'd like to continue my knowledge, because there's trainers on a whole nother level, man. You know, NFL
which is crazy.
Yeah, and there's guys that look up to, you know, I could name 10. But you want real experience, go to those workshops.
Yep.
I don't even know if there's certs with them. Who gives a shit?
There's not.
Like if there's, maybe they do provide a weekend certification or something, but like at the end of the day, if you know training, you know who's saying the right stuff and who's saying the wrong stuff, and you can kind of navigate that pretty easy, you know?
I would be willing to bet there isn't some little fancy certification with a gold star at the end of it, because people at the elite level don't give a shit telling other people, look what I did, look who I talked to.
Because the results speak for themselves.
They show up and they do the work, and they don't have to be like, I got my gold star. I met with Joe, whatever.
Value.
It's not
one of our favorite things.
It's
value.
not.
It's not. Well, how do I know you're good? I don't know. Go look here.
Yes. It's actually.
And you look
really
at my page, and I have like 50 transformations missing. Which
that's
gotta get on that.
Yeah, you should. But it's because it's busyness. But when you have a lesser certification, you have to boast about it and post a picture and hang it on your wall, because again, I'm saying this out loud and it's going to offend a lot of people. It's like, well, my college degree and whatever. Like, I'm not saying they're not
my
meaningful.
College degree is nothing, dude.
Well, mine is. That was just a ticket.
I know how to make a PB and J. It's like,
I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying the people at that elite level, they don't have to go showboating around of what they've accomplished. The results of their athletes, their clients, whatever, that's their certification to justify, if they even needed to, that they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
You don't need a single certification. You're like, these are all my athletes that got on stage. These are the people I train. This is Brooke. She started here. Now she looks like this. Her movement patterns are different. Her body composition is different. That's the certification. A real-life human being that you've changed their life fundamentally. That's it. You don't need a piece of paper to tell them. What does that matter?
I don't think it matters at all.
It doesn't.
Which is why I usually get frustrated.
But people care more about that.
I mean, that's why I get frustrated with like, and I guess what I do is blanket statement and say that I'm old school. But what I mean by I'm old school is that I don't think you need any of that crap.
No.
Because back in the day, it's like if you knew the guy.
Yeah.
They're like, go there.
That's the man you want to talk to.
Well, how do you know? Well, go watch his athletes.
You can stand on the field with certain coaches or wherever, that court, the field, whatever. You can tell in 5 minutes who they are as a coach, how they train people, and what their athletes are doing.
It's like shout out to Bobby Nagel if he doesn't even know how to probably bring up a podcast.
You know what? I meant to tell you this yesterday. He does. He comments on. He sees it on Facebook. Not on YouTube. What?
TY?
I can't remember what he said. It's usually like 2 words. Like they're very short. But he does watch the stuff, and he always talks to.
Oh, if he is
on
watching,
Facebook,
man.
He definitely is.
Bob Nagel's like my second father. He probably doesn't even know that. But he is. He's like, he like helped raise me, basically. He's a huge reason for who I am today, especially mentally. Especially mentally. That guy brought in, without really saying anything, D1 athletes across the board, baseball, a lot of wrestlers, a lot of football players. He was the dude. He could just walk around. He didn't need any likes. He didn't need any marketing. He didn't need any. He was the guy.
Doesn't matter.
And I know that's not the way the world works.
I know.
I'm not ignorant to the fact that we have to use marketing. We use it. I get it.
Of course.
So I'm not dumb with that. But I also think that it's a game of who can post the coolest crap, and that's what gets the dollar. And that, I'm sorry, that drives me nuts. I'm like, is this person actually good? I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe they're awesome. I don't know, but.
Probably not.
Probably not.
If you actually, looked at it and you did like a case study or whatever, probably there is a reverse correlation of the cooler, flashier things that people post, the less knowledge they actually have. You know, we talk about it all the time. Look at the people, all the guys that we're like getting information from. They're the people that have like the lowest following on Instagram, whatever, and no one knows who they are.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how come nobody knows this guy? But I'm not going to name anyone, but they know,
I know
this
exactly.
guy. Yeah, me too. And everyone follows and reposts all those things, but that person has just figured out the system. And then they're using it to their advantage to run a business, which I'll never fault people for doing that.
No.
But the real knowledge is trapped in these other people. Yeah. But the reason why they're not known is because, like you just said and we're saying, they don't give a shit about putting themselves out there anyway because they know that they're good. They don't have to justify it.
Man, we are really going off topic.
We're so off topic.
I don't care. We can bring it back. We'll bring it back. We'll bring it back around. But, like, why do you think it's a coincidence, though, that those people that are more reserved and don't put themselves out there that much, but they're really, really, really good at what they do?
That's why they're good at what they do. But it's a personality trait.
Yes, but do you also think that maybe they're just really, really sound? This goes back to what we were talking about a couple podcasts ago. I bet they're really sound human beings that are pretty secure with their own.
I was going to say, it's a security or insecurity thing. Yes.
Right. Because if you're super insecure, or you don't really don't know what you're doing,
you don't really
faking it till you make it, or using other shit to try to boost your sales or whatever.
Yep. You have to do all these flashy things.
You have to, because that's all you have.
Yep.
You might have like a little bit of training knowledge, but you know it's not that good.
Yep.
Right? So it's like an internal issue where I almost gravitate towards people that aren't as big.
Me too.
Because I'm like, man, these like usually, not all the time, but usually they're like genuine people that are really like down to earth, and you're like, man, they make so much sense because they're not preoccupied trying to be someone they're not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like we just said, they don't care about boasting a certification or putting their name out there or whatever, because like, I know I'm good. I know I'm the guy. If people think that or don't think that, I don't really give a shit. I'm good at what I do, and I'm confident in that ability, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess to quick reel it back around, because the biggest thing I want to touch on with the psychology of sport, we're talking about psychology
of people that are teaching sports, so it will come back around to the individual now getting into their own sport.
When we talk about focus from in the beginning, we talk about intensity and we talk about those things, and I guess I'll ask you a question. What does your zone look like when you're actually tapped into a set? Be real here.
I am. That's what I'm thinking, but I'm smiling because
let's not give bullshit
I can start
answers.
To like feel it.
I mean, I can't give all of it away because people might think I'm a psycho.
I was gonna say there's parts that I won't necessarily
there's
say.
Some pretty deep things. Whatever it takes to internalize to, and a lot of people won't get this. We touched on this, I think, on Brandy and Amir's podcast.
We did.
You know, people are like, I've had people say, you said this. I'm almost like, dude, I don't know what you think of, but you look you look nuts. I'm like, yeah, that's because during that set, in that moment,
40 seconds or whatever,
when I decide to flip for 40 seconds or whatever the set is, and I don't do this with every single set.
No, of course not.
When I need to call on that,
it's there.
It's there, and it's there for a lot of other athletes. Fighters are really good at this.
Of course.
Turning on, turning off. But within a match or whatever, a fight, the ability to control breathing, relax, focus, turn back on, turn off, back. You know, it's an amazing thing. I mean, I can't even discuss the psychology of the brain, and I mean, I'm sure there's obviously
people that have like studied this. And
and I love it. I'm fascinated by how you're able. For me, I'll be go ahead. What's yours?
I was gonna say that I wish that I could read some kind of study about like where the brain takes you in that, because it's, I think, and I'm gonna go slightly off, but it all makes sense. This is the reason. This is probably my biggest pet peeves. I complain to you all the time when I don't understand how people can be so unfocused in the gym.
Yes, that's.
And it bothers me so much. I don't really care if people are focused or not focused. They can do whatever they want to do. It bothers me because that's what they're doing. I can't get to my, like you said, what does my place look like? And this place, when you said it, I started smiling because I started to actually. It's odd. when the second you said that, I started to feel what it feels like when I'm getting into my set. And I don't understand how people, because when they stop and start and they're on their phone and they walk into the store to talk to me, they do all these things. I know for a fact, because this is how you get there, there's no way humanly possible they can be in that space.
Correct.
Because when I'm in that space, the entire world shuts down. Nothing matters. Nobody is in my plane of vision. Sometimes you're not even there. It doesn't matter.
I don't want to be there.
And I don't see anything. I don't hear anything.
That's your playground.
You almost feel it, like we were talking about setting up your actual training. You almost feel this wave coming through your body, from your feet up your body, and then it takes over everything. And you're just in this place where you're like, I am going to move this weight in the most perfect way possible. And as you're doing that, you're completing something that, especially if, let's say, framing this as like a top set, it's something that you went into it thinking, there's a chance that this might defeat me. Yes. So you're in this battle.
It's a fight.
You're fighting. I know it sounds crazy. You're fighting a weight, but you are. And that's how I'm framing this. This thing is coming up against me, and I'm going against this. I might win. I might lose. We're going to find out. And everything is culminating to the fact that this set, I'm going to defeat it. I'm going to win. And you go there, whatever dark place you go to, or it doesn't have to be dark, but usually it's a little dark, a little gray. You go to that place. And
I'm sorry, I don't know how it's not dark.
It has to be dark. I'm just trying not to make people think we're psychopaths.
No, I know, but some people are like, you don't always have to be angry. And I'm like, yeah,
you
actually
do,
really
though, because this is, I hate when people are like, it's a battle and whatever, but like, it is, though, if you're training, like we're saying this entire podcast, as a high-level athlete,
yes,
it is a battle, and you're going to win. You have to win. You must win. And getting to that place and bringing yourself there and conquering that is probably the most amazing, awesome feeling. It's to me anyway, and I think everyone agrees that does this. It's this euphoric feeling of, I got there. I'm in this world where I don't know where I am. I've just conquered something awesome, and then I can come back down out of it. And then as you finish the set, you basically die at the end of it. You feel yourself coming back out of it and back to like level back into life. But it's winning that moment it almost is like the physical part of it doesn't, like, I don't really necessarily feel the physical. Let's say we're doing a leg press. At a certain point, I don't really feel the reps anymore. I'm feeling the mental win, and that's building, and I'm getting addicted to that feeling. Yeah. And that part is what I'm conquering. And then I'm like, oh, I just moved all this weight. That's the moving the weight is just the byproduct of it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really feel like I'm doing the weight at a certain point.
What do you think?
What?
What do you think about?
What do I think about? I don't think that I'm thinking. Sometimes there's which I'm not going to say, sometimes there's very specific things and specific people.
Do you think there's trauma there?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to say the specific details. There's specific moments in my life. There's specific people that sometimes for an entire set, when I'm in it, there's not one time, but there's a specific instance or person that's the only thing that I'm thinking about, and it's not that I want to like harm anyone, but it's like there's just anger, dude, and I want to express that through the intensity of that training. Mm-hmm. But the anger is what is the fuel that turns the fire on to actually get you into that space. Mm-hmm. And I think that most people that are good at sport have most likely, if someone studied this, have had some level of trauma or some level of disparity or hardship or whatever, and maybe that's why some of these younger people can't focus and can't get there. Real shit has happened to them.
Real shit, like not like made. You can't get to a place like that.
But people try to.
I know, but you can see that it's not real.
Of course you can.
Which also kind of bothers me a little bit, and I know it shouldn't.
But it bothers me because
they do whatever they want. But
the fakeness is sickening almost.
Yeah.
You're in there. You're never mind. You're just. It's fake, and you don't. But like you said, you can tell. It's. I almost feel bad for people like that because it's like they know that this world that you go to exists, and they want to get there, but maybe they don't know how yet. Maybe they're still learning, so they force it, and they're screaming and yelling and beating their chest and doing these things. I think you either have that or you don't have it. That's what I was going to say. But again, all these things make us sound arrogant. There's a lot of like besides genetics. I think. Like my genetics are subpar, right? But I'd say my mental IQ and the ability to turn on, turn off, visualization, those things, exceptional.
That's where I can beat people. I figure that out.
Yeah. But that's the thing. You
really
unlock
young.
that at a
and I've
young
also trained
age. Yes.
that mental ability and capacity to turn on. I didn't used to be able to turn it off.
Yes.
To the point
where
where
I think
like,
that's where anger would come into your life outside of the gym.
Right.
Because
like,
you would turn it on
sometimes
and
I couldn't snap out of it.
Yeah.
And I'd like, the set's over, like, and I'm racking it or whatever.
And you're just walking around pissed.
And I want to grab someone and just fucking like, and I'm like, snap out.
Yeah.
I gotta get out of that.
It didn't,
right?
because it
not
wasn't
that I want to harm anyone either.
Of course,
it's more so
it wasn't a controllable tool. Now it's a tool. It's a very specific tool that you can use, but you had to learn how to do that. It's like I was saying, you have to train this mental side of it, just like the physical side of it, and it's really manipulation of your brain at that point and understanding how to control. Actually, what it is having the intellectual ability and the emotional intelligence to learn yourself and train yourself, which takes, like we've talked about in other podcasts, takes time to reflect on yourself, look inward, know your strong suits, know your pain points, know your weak points, and then accept them, and then learn about them, and then train it from there. Mm-hmm. But most people are terrified to do that.
You know what's wild, though, over all the years and I've been able to have that ability since I'd say 11 or 12 is when I realized the power of that mental capacity and be able to turn it on and off. My dad, he used to, and I probably said this on our podcast, my dad, he was a big player in this, but like he realized, I don't even know if he actually realized it. He's like, this kid has something there. It was powerlifting, did this. The ability, music's big for me. Like, there's like, I mean, dude, man, it's like fucking emotional, dude.
Yeah. It is.
There's like a lot of trauma there,
Yeah.
But he used to fucking rock me across the face. And people were probably like, someone called DSS.
I'm sure.
Someone called the authorities.
Yeah.
But he knew it wasn't, that's not what it was. He knew I was there, and it was like this extra push off the ledge.
It was supportive.
And it would like walk up to the bar and grab the bar, and just, I was gone. I didn't even know where I was, man. And like, that's when I would squat, I was like 13 and squatted like I don't know what it was.
Blake's a world record holder of the squat at the age of 13. So there's a newspaper article. I'm going to pull them up and post them on here.
But when I grabbed the bar and got under it and wedged myself under and braced my core and tucked my lats.
The mental checklist.
I'm like, this bar is fucking getting launched. I don't even care what's on the bar, dude.
That's what I was saying.
It's going to go up.
The physical part at a certain point doesn't matter. Doesn't. You won't even look to see what's on there because it literally doesn't matter.
Yeah. So for me, that, a big part of that, I don't want to get like super emotional. It's like this fucking crying podcast.
Yeah, dude, but
don't
do that. It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
It's not,
you need to gather yourself.
Don't say that.
Be a man about. Don't say that.
Don't say that, dude.
Don't say that. Without going super emotional and getting ridiculous. For me, what it is, man. It's fear of abandonment,
which we've talked about not on the podcast, but
I don't give a shit.
No. I'm just saying.
I'm not tapping into all the resources. Don't worry.
No one's
gonna steal my mojo.
It's a.
That's mine to keep in my treasure chest. But like that's part of it, right?
Yes.
So the feeling that I go into that like, and it's just trauma.
Mm-hmm.
It's all just. So like someone's like, "How do you get there?" I'm like, "Dude, I can't.
I don't have to
explain this.
I don't have to try.
For God's sakes, I don't want to actually.
Yeah.
You don't even want it.
Well, that's the only time I ever get into the details of it is someone like, one, you're my best friend, but two, because I know we have similar-ish experiences, so I can articulate it. I don't feel like it's going to be judged if I tell you the nitty-gritty details of it, because I'm like, well, you've been through not the same, but similar bullshit too. Yeah. But most people, it's awkward to explain it to them because
it is.
They're going to look at you kind of sideways like,
sure,
are you mentally okay? No.
Right.
The answer is no.
Yeah, but you've built resilience.
But I'm not
to control those
of course.
Things. And, so for me, like, not every time I lock in like that, but and my ability to control it now, I'd say honestly in the past like 2 to 3 years, I think some of the business stuff we went through.
I was going to say that.
I think it actually, I can like, I don't even need to. I mean, I grunt. I'm kind of loud. I'm kind of annoying, but
a little.
It's a little annoying for sure. But I hear myself in videos. I'm like, Jesus Christ, just shut up, dude.
Coop, turn that volume down. It's bad.
It's pretty annoying. So sorry for everyone when I'm grunting, but like, I'm able to like channel that even more now, and kind of like not outwardly express it. Like I don't need to slam my head against the bar, but you see me bite my hands.
Oh yeah.
That was a thing I used to do when I was young.
Yeah.
I'd bite my hand and like sometimes way too hard, and it'd be like bleed down my. And I'm like,
I don't think.
Oh man, people are like literally.
I think I said this on the Mid Atlantic podcast. Probably not this one yet, but that's like that was one of my first impressions of you. It was probably our second or third time training together, and we were doing chest. It was I'm pretty sure it was at Lifetime. Maybe it was Coliseum, but I'm pretty sure it was at Lifetime. And we're doing chest. We're building up, going to the top set, incline Smith chest press. And then, it's what top set. Blake's here. He's putting his wrist wraps on. He's getting, okay, we're in it. I was like, once he puts his headphone on, we're not going to talk. I know that. So I'm like, okay, he's just going to that place. I get it. And everything looks good. The chalk's on. We're ready to go. All of a sudden, Blake just goes and rips into his fist. I am about to spot him. I look down at his hand just like this. I can see every teeth mark on his hand, and it's now radiating purple. And it's in my head, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy, and why did I agree to train this? And then, like, I'm very used to it now because we've trained together so long. I see, because now I know who he is. That happens. I'm like, how dumb is boy, this guy is going to eat his head off. Then all of a sudden, this just look is across his eyes, and I'm like, this man, like you just said, is going to launch the bar of the Smith machine through the machine. It comes down and it just explodes. I'm like, wow, that's training, dude. That's awesome. But I think because I've been in darker places too, some people would look at that and be like, I got to go home. This guy's crazy. I looked at it and said, that's awesome. I want to train with this guy more. This is cool. Yeah. And now we've been training together for, 8 years or whatever. So, it was interesting, definitely. Yeah. But I liked it.
Yeah, it's like the fight. It's kind of just like a fight in those top sets sometimes. Like that feeling of abandonment or whatever you want to call it. It's more so like no one's gonna save you.
Yep.
No one's gonna help you.
Nope.
No, that's like no one gives a shit, dude. Like so, I'm like on this island by myself with no help. I don't know, and it's way deeper than all this. So, that's what like just makes me like implode.
Yeah.
And then sometimes there's like obviously specific like things that
there's specific moments and whatever
where I'm like,
of course.
I don't even think about it. Just like for some reason when I open the gate,
it just flashed. I know you're right. That's the thing. Waiting at the gate.
All of a sudden, that thing's there. I'm like, I don't know why it's there, but that pisses me off.
I'm gonna run through it because now I see it, and I'm like, oh, I remember you.
Why is that coming in my mind?
It's like a dream. Dreams are random. Dude. It just I open the door, and that's the thing that's there. I'm like, oh, I remember this, and then that's.
And on the contrary, so there's times too when I'm trying to lock in like that, and it is so exhausting to go to that space.
It can be.
And I realized that over time. I'm like, dude, you can't do that like every set. No, there's no way. No. I used to try, and like I would overtrain. I think that's why I've made so much more progress in the past like.
That's a really good point. Yep.
Because I've realized like, dude, you can't do that every time. There's a time and place for those things, but dude, you can't. The systematic fatigue that you would build up.
Because that's your entire central nervous system.
You would just break. Yeah, and at some point, you're just literally overtraining from just being exhausted from the mental side of it, too.
And then add in working nights as a police officer on top of that. No wonder you were.
Oh, man, yeah.
You were just shutting your body down.
Shutting it down.
And I was going to say that at this point because we've talked about, like, we've shared pretty intense things of how we're training. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you said that. I don't want to speak for you, but I know it's true. We don't train that way. I don't train that way every single time I work out.
I actually don't train that way a lot anymore.
I don't.
Like, I'll tap there's times.
There's sometimes I go down.
Of injuries I can't. So.
That's true too. There are sometimes I go down there with the mission of I need to train this way tonight because it's therapeutic and that makes me feel good. Just who I am as a person. Sometimes I need that more than anything else. Sometimes we've had such a long day. I don't have the mental capacity to tap into that, and I know that, so I leave it alone. And other times it accidentally comes. Sometimes I'm just listening to my because I want to talk about music too. My music can take me there because music.
I actually kind of hate when people are like, I don't need music.
No,
I'm like,
music
I do 100%. I need music 1,000%. Need music.
It can drive
I think
the
both
entire session. And even
like
the genre, we both have musical backgrounds, and the music
Yep.
is what drives me to do a lot of things. And it can, my music can almost
dictate the mood
my
of the training
entire training session by the wrong song shuffling by accident. But I'm like, I could take it in this direction. Or sometimes, we've both been there. I'll be starting a set and some other song. I'm like, no, this is the wrong song. And I'll have to stop because it ruins the flow of the training, which brings me back to the point of why I get so angry when people are so disengaged in their training. Because
but that's
to
what
me,
I'm saying too.
the focus is the key to everything.
Yeah.
So when you're unfocused, to me, the training session is irrelevant and doesn't matter.
Correct.
So I just want to take them and be like, dude, focus.
So even if you're not tapping on this crazy trauma, anger, or whatever, you're still focused.
In something.
You're still in and part
There's
of that focus
an intention.
is that needs to go away.
It has to
sure.
go away.
Unless I'm changing the song or maybe an important text comes up and I'm like, oh, geez.
For
I got it.
half a second.
I'll deal with it later kind of
we
thing.
have to do that by the lifestyle that we live.
You have to, unfortunately.
I use this example.
I used to leave my phone in my dorm.
I used to leave it in my gym bag in
I had
the
my
inside zipper
iPod
pocket.
shuffle thing.
Yeah.
And I'd run the
I
wires
that,
up.
Yeah.
And my phone would be,
it doesn't matter.
Someone would call me and be like, dude, I keep calling you. I'm like,
I
was training.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, you don't have your phone on? No, I literally left it in my apartment or I left it at my dorm or whatever. Yep.
I've used this example many times to try to frame it to people that might not be into the gym as much. And because I think back when I had a real job in my corporate world, if I was going into a meeting, a 1 hour meeting, that's an important meeting with a client. That meeting has a beginning and an end, and there's a goal. We must accomplish the agenda.
The goal,
If in the middle of the meeting, every 10 minutes I got up to go to the bathroom, check my phone, heat up a meal, talk to the guy next to me, make a joke with Brian, it wouldn't get done. So you have to stay focused on the task at hand. And again, we're talking about high-level training in this podcast. If you want to be a high-level athlete that's achieving a goal, that training session for an hour, 45 minutes, hour and a half, whatever you train for, that is your meeting. That is your goal. There's an agenda with one bullet point. Train.
Yeah.
Everything else in the agenda
let's say
is
you're
left
a
off.
premier athlete and you're like, the goal of the day isn't hard training. It's just like a recovery day.
But still make that your mission.
Focus.
Exactly.
You're calmed down and kind of more like, okay, I'm calm today. I'm stretching. I'm mobility. I'm
But
this.
you're focused on being calm.
Because there's intent behind it. So you're getting the actual thing accomplished.
Because to stay calm all day long, that takes a lot of focus because it's easy to get riled up and be uncalm. So you have to focus on, it doesn't matter. The focus is not always on intensity, like you just said. You can focus on many things. I can focus on being quiet all day long. That takes focus, though.
This is where like the talking thing always drove me nuts, though. From literally high school, college on, when people are like, "Man, like, hey, man, do you got a minute?" Like even when I was in like college, like, dude, no, why are you? And I guess they didn't get it. And I used to be an asshole about it actually. In college, I'd be like, "Get away from me, dude." And everyone like, "Jesus Christ, what's wrong?"
Well, my problem is,
I'm like, dude, are you actually seriously tapping in on my session right now? Like,
because they don't realize.
You want to talk? They don't talk about what, dude?
They don't realize.
What are we talking about, man?
My time, and because most people don't frame it this way. Last night we were training. I watched 3 different groups of people who don't matter. It doesn't matter who they are, and I was doing whatever I was doing. I did 2 different complete movements all together, different. And every time I look up, they were still in the same spot talking. Yeah. Nothing was accomplished. I had done 2 full exercises already. All you did was run your mouth, dude. That's it. But some of those people are the same people that come to us and swear they want to be top-level athletes. Well, you're not going to get it doing it that way. I can promise you that. And again, we're not better than anyone. I don't think that I'm a better athlete or whatever. Right now, I'm a terrible athlete.
You're also allowed to hang out and talk in the gym. It's totally fine.
You are.
We're also not judging.
I'm not saying don't
rephrase this
do that.
It's a little frustrating, especially maybe as a coach sometimes too, when someone's like, "I really want to get there," and then you see their actions don't
align with
their
because again,
that's what's frustrating.
It's more than okay to talk in the gym. This entire podcast we're talking about if you want to be a top level athlete, how are you doing that? Well, if you want to be a person that goes to the gym, you can talk the whole time. I don't care. It's probably fun to do that.
And I've had athletes that are actually really good bodybuilders that are like, "Hey man, I don't need to do that. I just like to hang out." And I'm like,
it doesn't work that way.
I can't really get on board with it. I'm not gonna like go for it, I guess, but like, I can
from
tell
all of your
you
experience,
the dudes that are like really,
they're not doing that. I'm not telling you to not do it, but the people at the top are not doing that.
I don't see the top guys like, even if they are smoking and joking, you see them lock in and lock out of their sets.
Of course.
You can see focus is on, focus a little bit off, focus on, focus
because
off.
You can see, especially in our videos, towards the end of our workouts, you and I will even do that sometimes. But we know there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
It's actually interesting. I've never watched myself train before until we started doing these videos with Coop, which are awesome. I love watching them. A
lot of breathing, dude.
But there's a lot of labored breathing. I feel like, though, it's interesting because I was like, I'm talking more than I normally do, and I feel like it's because I'm like, I feel this is like the people pleaser in me. I feel obligated because there's someone else there. I'm like, well, I want to make sure he's okay, so like I got to also talk to him too. And I'm like, then I got annoyed with myself. I'm like, I'm talking way too much, but I just want to like make jokes with Coop because I like him. But it's like because I like hanging out with him.
Sorry, he's pretty good.
Yeah. But that was an interesting observation for me because again I've never literally watched myself train because I'm not the person that does this and records every set of every rep. And I don't think I've
done it before
for informational reasons because you're coaching people. There's a different. Again, I'm not saying you can't.
I can say this. So every
gym.
time I did a top set and I did record it, or I threw some stuff up on Instagram, people liked it and they're like, "Hey, I really enjoy that."
Because you're
so I'm like, "All right, I get it. Okay, so I'll try to do it." And I'm always like, "Oh, I'll get more up there," and then I never do. And it's
because
not because
you're too
I'm
busy
being
training.
lazy. I just because it actually does ruin the set.
It does.
I can still get a productive set out of it.
Yes.
But me setting my phone up for some reason annoys me. Like I'm like, I'm not focused right now.
That's what we've been talking about, and it takes.
But I also
takes a little bit of energy.
I
and
care
effort.
about my clients
and your business,
want them I want to show them like this is properly how this is properly done, you know. Mm-hmm. And I've had people say like, "Dude, I watched it and I was like, oh man, it clicked." And I'm like, okay, cool. So there's value in this.
It's helpful,
you know. But I also kind of ruins my like if I had it my way. Excuse me, I would just leave this up in the office.
Of course, me too. But then we'll get some phone call and the gym's on fire.
I know. Whatever.
The roof's leaking, the thing's out. Whatever, dude.
All right.
I think though that we probably can finalize some of this with getting back to, again, we keep going off topic about the actual psychology of sport when it comes to preparing. Because the one that I was going to say in the beginning of all this is that I think bodybuilding is uniquely different in that, like you said, it's more like mini games because the training sessions are the performance. Whereas like in football, you practice all week, but the game is at the end of the week. Correct. You're leading up to that. Bodybuilding is the opposite. Yeah. You're not leading up to anything. And when you get on stage, that's what, once, twice, 3 times a year. So it's the final performance.
Maybe once every other year, you know,
is not the same. So in the gym, in that setting, if we're keeping it in bodybuilding right now, it does look different than other high-level athletes. Yep. And then how you prepare mentally and frame for that, it has to be different than fundamentally.
Yep.
But it's a unique experience to have this mini preparation every day, basically every 24 hours.
Yeah.
Or if you train 5 days a week, whatever it is. Yeah. And how you are able to have the energy and the ability to do that multiple times a week.
It's fascinating hearing other people's stories.
Yes.
You know, on how do you get psyched up per set? How do you lock into that session? How do you approach it? How do you approach your training?
Yeah.
And everyone's wildly different, man. And it's cool. It's cool to see. And I've always been just extremely fascinated by it.
And you know what? Approach is another thing because I've the past, like, especially this week, training again because like I'm doing all this stupid shoulder stuff. My approach has been different, but it's actually given me, I think with how busy we are, I've lost my approach to my training. Yeah, I do 10 minutes of cardio. We lay on the turf and I do stupid things to warm up, but like I wasn't really locked into my approach, so then my training sessions weren't as good. And I'm realizing this now as I'm saying it out loud. Whereas the past few days, because I've had to do things a little bit differently to kind of prehab or rehab the shoulder, I've had to be more my approach is almost the training. So I've been more intentional with my approach, and then my workouts are now better, even though my workouts on paper are lesser workouts.
I mean, you joke that they're a waste of time, but I'm like,
it wasn't.
Dude, finally, like you're piecing that together.
It's fantastic, though.
Yeah.
I feel this is the best. It's crazy. I came to you at the end of my training last night. I'm like, that was I used a different word, but that was the dumbest training session I've had in a long time. But I'm not going to say it on here. But then last night after I got home, I'm like, that was actually one of the most productive sessions I've had in a really long time. Now, was I going to this dark place? Was I moving a bunch of weight?
No, but you can't even go there, bro.
But I can't go
and
there.
Then you go there, and then you break
unsafe.
yourself. And
exactly.
So it's a vicious cycle of nothing.
It really
you were
is.
completely not. You were going backwards and not being productive at all.
At all.
And
but
I
just kept. I just
you know.
kept forcing it because I'm like, I'm a bodybuilder. I'm going to force it. But it was stupid. And now here I am looking like an octopus on my shoulder because I messed up. It's stupid. But what the word approach that you said is what really triggered all this, because I spent 35, 40 minutes last night just on the turf, really fundamentally going through my mental checklist, doing all this cueing, and now even today, just sitting here, I haven't felt my core, my erectors, my rhomboids, my all these things are now firing.
Yeah, that's good.
And I'm like, wow, I wasn't using any of these stabilization muscles for the past 6 months probably, and no wonder.
When it's neglected for a long time.
Exactly.
And you're putting other things first.
I know, it's because we've had to put everything else first. Yeah. But again, your approach matters. You could argue almost more than the training. The visualization you did leading up to a game matters sometimes almost more than the actual thing. Because if the approach and the preparation is all done correctly, the game part is almost effortless because you've already done the work. Now you're just out there doing it.
Yep.
And it kind of takes care of itself.
Yep.
So again, I'm kind of relearning this almost in a way that I'm refining my approach, I guess is what I'm saying, and I'm enjoying it because it's helping me become better at training again.
Yep. That's it.